here.
That's good.
So the purpose of today's class is to really equip you with these 5 essentials so you can start implementing them into your daily lifestyle to make it as easy as possible to minimize stress and be able to create healthy habits. Because the more you can create healthy habits, the more progress you're going to make in your care here in the office, but also in your health long term. So you should have gotten, as part of your care, the initial books, the mini books, the nutrition plan recipe book, and the quick start guide. Did you get those?
Yes.
Perfect. So we use these resources to have the information that you need, and this is really what inspires you to start taking action and getting those into your daily life. So we're going to cover all 5 of those areas: chiropractic and why that's number 1 in our first primary essential, how to start eating a healthy nutrition that actually feeds health long term, how to create a healthy mindset, how to move your body in a healthy way, and how to minimize chemical stresses. This addresses all 3 stresses that affect us health-wise: physical, emotional, and chemical stresses. You can minimize all 3, help your body adapt to healthy lifestyle habits. You're going to be far better off. Your body's going to be healing itself the way it's designed to. So we look at how to prioritize your health, right? It's not about changing every single part of your life immediately. It's about progressive improvements over time. That's really how you make progress. And if we can be just a little bit better this week than we were last week, better this month, better in the next 6 months, better in the next year, and keep working on that growth mindset, you're going to see how things typically improve. So the first area that we really want to focus on, and why it's our first essential, is chiropractic care. Now, chiropractic care is not just about neck and back pain. It's not just about feeling better, or even just about your spine or your back. It's really about your nervous system. And that's where it all starts. Your brain and nervous system is what regulates healthy function, and your body's designed to be self-healing. So if we can get your brain and nervous system working better, your whole body works better. Your spine is what surrounds and protects that nervous system and regulates that normal function. So if your spine is not in its proper position, if it's not moving properly, if it's under more stress than your body can handle, well, that affects health and function of the rest of your body through the nervous system. And that's called subluxation. This is something that most doctors, they do not look for. Most chiropractors don't focus on the correction component of it. They focus on just the symptoms and effects of it, which is pain and other types of joint issues, health effects. So our goal is not just to feel better, it's about improving function, right? And that's the idea when we look at the spine and nervous system. Every single level of your spine regulates and controls something different in your body. So we go from the top to the bottom, and we look at the areas that it controls. This top area is the most important. This is the C1 or the atlas. This is what regulates your autonomic nervous system. Some of the areas this regulates is the blood supply to the head, some of the glands in your brain, the brain itself, your inner medial ear, and what's called your sympathetic nervous system. So your sympathetic nervous system is what's regulating heart rate and respiration, how your body adapts to stress. All the things that are happening without you thinking about it is regulated by this part of your nervous system. So if you have a problem here at the top, that means that it's affecting everything else along the way. And as you go through each level, it regulates your eyes, ears, nose, and throat. It regulates the muscles of your neck and shoulders and arms, your heart and your lungs, your stomach and your primary digestion, where your hormones are produced, and your adrenal system into your kidneys and your digestive function, your reproductive organs, and the nerves into your legs. So every part of your spine, we look at this and we evaluate which areas are working and which areas are not. And typically it's not the whole thing that's working, it's specific areas that over time will break down because of those 3 stresses we mentioned. Maybe it was a major injury you had long ago, maybe it's repetitive stress, daily lifestyle, overwhelming mental or chemical stresses can all cause subluxation, and left uncorrected, it becomes more than a back problem, it becomes a health problem. That's why our primary focus is to detect and correct subluxation, not just for temporary, but for a lifetime. And the longer you do that, the better your body functions. So that's the idea of corrective care versus symptomatic care. What most people experience, whether they go to their medical doctor or PT, or they go to their standard chiropractor that's on their insurance plan, is symptomatic relief care. So if you come in with neck pain or back pain or headaches, sciatica, the goal is to minimize that pain and help you feel better in as little visits as possible. The issue with symptomatic care is you're not really addressing long-term health and function, because your body only feels about 10% of what goes on, so 90% of what happens in your health you don't feel. So you have to lose 40% of function of any part of your body before you notice a symptom. So by the time you're experiencing neck pain or back pain, or you have a health problem or digestive issue, well, you've lost at least 40% or more of normal function, and your body's already in that acute phase where it's under more stress than it can adapt to. So if we're just stuck in this symptomatic model, you can never truly get well. And that's most patients that come into the office. They've been to chiropractors, they've tried other things, and they felt better many times, but the problem comes back or new or different issues come up. So where we're different than a large majority of chiropractors you're going to see is our goal is not just to feel better, but to restore health and function and maintain that healthy function for as long as possible, ideally for the rest of your life. The best thing that I ever see, and my biggest hope for every patient, is that they embrace these lifestyle factors for the rest of their life. Whether they move away to a different state or country, whether they go different life circumstance, if they continue chiropractic care, they continue these 5 essentials. So we look at your home care. In addition to your active care in office, you have exercises at home. This reinforces all the good work we're doing here, helps improve posture, improves mobility, hydrates the discs and the different tendons, ligaments of your spine, and it also helps by stabilizing and strengthening the corrections that we're making. So ideally over time, your body holds the adjustment better and longer. So it's very important you follow your home care protocol. We give this to you for a reason. The patients that see the best results overwhelmingly for the longest period of time are the ones who consistently do the home care. Now, if you're not perfect on that already, don't beat yourself up on it. It takes time to create healthy habits, but the more you do it, the more progress you're going to create. So over time, as you go through your evaluations and updated x-rays, and as your care progresses over the years to come, we may change your home care, but it's always necessary to do something for that. If you can do at least something for your spinal and nervous system health every day, you're going to be a lot better for it. So keep working on incorporating these things into your daily life, especially the wobble and traction. That's like brushing your teeth. It's one of the only things that hydrates your entire spine from your neck to the mid-back all the way into the lower. If you're doing just that each day, you're giving your body the hydration and movement that it needs to get all the nutrients to your brain, to keep a good posture, to keep movement, to keep nerve supply and blood flow to the rest of your body. So let's keep working on that home care. If you need any help with this, clarifications, we've created videos for all those. We can set aside exercise consults if needed. If you forgot or need an update on that, we'll be working through that with you. Now, chiropractic is not just for adults. It's not just for people who are in pain. It's really for the whole family. And as you probably noticed in your time here, we're a family health office. We see babies who are newborns, same day sometimes, even when they're born. We have patients that are in their 80s, even 90s. And the reason why is because everybody who has a nervous system can benefit from chiropractic care. Now, a lot of people ask, do kids and babies really need chiropractic? And the short answer to that is yes. They've actually done studies where they look at newborn babies and they look for what they call KISS, which is basically subluxation. And that's going to be abnormal movement or function of the upper cervical part of the spine, which is the most commonly affected for kids through the delivery process, whether that was a natural birth, whether there was birth interventions, especially if there was a C-section or maybe something like forceps or a really rough birth. Very common to have that subluxation. And doctors, they don't look for this at all. Most chiropractors aren't trained on how to adjust and assess babies properly and even small children. This is a more advanced level that all of our doctors in the office have been trained to be able to do. So I recommend all parents at least get their kids checked to make sure everything's functioning properly. Because a lot of times they're not going to run up to you and say, Mommy, I got headaches, or I'm getting sciatic pain, or my back hurts all the time. Some kids may notice those things, but it's not as common. But a lot of kids have sinus problems, neurodevelopmental problems, they're not sleeping right, maybe they have mood disorders, they can have asthma issues, digestive problems, a lot of babies with colic and ear infections, very commonly related to subluxation that goes undiagnosed. Instead, they get an antibiotic or they get some type of a medication, or it's just a growing pain and they're going to hopefully grow out of it, or maybe they should stop eating a certain food. But many of those children who come in and get adjusted actually start noticing those issues go away. So wouldn't it be better if we could address the issue now and prevent problems into the future? So even if your children don't have major health concerns, or they didn't fall down the stairs or have a major trauma, it's still a benefit to get them checked and at least know what's going on. And that's part of our family wellness process in the office. Every month we have a patient appreciation week where we're actually going through and checking friends and family at a discount for that. And at any time, you can bring those children in to see exactly where they are. I know both my kids have been adjusted since birth. I know Dr. Mountford, you adjusted your kids, I'm sure, from the time that they were very young. And a lot of our kids do really, really well. They get sick less often. They have very few health concerns. And unfortunately, children is the fastest developing sick population of our society. So if we can affect this, we can affect generations to come. The next thing is mindset. And the really thing about mindset isn't just how much stress you're under, it's how you view and manage your health. Most of us were taught health is something that you take care of when it's not working. When you have a symptom, when you have a diagnosis, you treat it and you manage it. That's what we're taught through medicine. When you think about that, you do have three choices. You can either wait until things develop, which is what a lot of people do. And you could ignore that symptom, you can deal with it, live with it, or mask it through maybe ibuprofen, over-the-counter medications. Many times as those don't work, you go to the doctor and you get stronger medications, you get prescriptions. And these are all addressing the symptom, the effect. It's not looking at cause, why did it happen, what can we do to prevent it, how do we improve function. And for a lot of people, that's an additional stress because now we added in something foreign from the outside to your body that can be a toxic stress as well, especially medications. Those are some of the biggest, right? Average of 70 side effects per pill, that's if you're taking just one. If you're taking multiple, that increases exponentially. So now we're creating new and different problems without ever really addressing the cause of the initial issue. So when you look at your mindset and you do things proactively, you look natural first. You look at vitality and function versus symptom and feeling better. So if the goal is to get my body to a healthier state, to where it can heal itself naturally and do things to improve that function, that's what the 5 Essentials does. When you develop that mindset and you have more faith in your body's ability to adapt and heal, you understand that we were developed and designed intelligently, that there was a plan, and your body never causes harm, then you are on your way to living a holistic, healthy lifestyle. Now, obviously, things come up. If you fall off the roof and break your arm, you're not going to put vitamin D on that. You know, an adjustment's not going to fix that. You got to go to the doctor and get that reset, right? If you have some kind of major trauma or injury, medicine is amazing at this, right? If you have a life-saving medication that's needed, thank goodness that exists. But when it comes to getting and staying well, that's something that's done outside the doctor's office. And really, it's your body that does the healing, and that's what we're promoting. So that's really the biggest thing in mindset is how do we start getting that? So we look at the idea of treating or preventing, right? What's stopping you from taking that next step, that action you know you should be doing in your life, and find out what those limiting factors are. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's time, or maybe it's money. Whatever that may be for you, let's start looking at those in a deeper way. And then we start changing our priorities. You know what your priorities are because that's where you spend your most time, effort, and resources. So sometimes people will say their health is a priority, but their actions speak differently. So this is a time to really kind of reflect on yourself and be honest. Am I making my health a priority, or am I creating reasons why I can't do it? Are we creating barriers and excuses of why I can't be healthy? It costs too much. I'm too busy. My schedule doesn't allow it. I just can't get better. Whatever those are, let's start working through those and think lifetime care. We mentioned this in the beginning. Health isn't something that happens in the short term. Health is a lifelong process that may go up and down. There may be different seasons of your health. There may be times where you focus on it more and times where you focus on it less. But health will always be something that you work on. And when you realize that and you accept that to be true, the way you view and manage your health is going to completely change. And once you have that foundation, you can start to add in these lifestyle habits. So one of those big ones is nutrition. That's why we give you this quick start nutrition guide. Most people, they were taught the standard American diet. You know, they grew up eating processed foods, getting foods from a window. All these things are our modern American lifestyle. And there's a reason why disease, sickness, pain, discomfort, mood problems, medication use has just continued to go up because our nutrition is going down and it's continued to get worse and still is today. So we start looking at some easy things. We look at, you're going to read here in the Quick Start Nutrition Plan, the Core Plan and the Advanced Plan. The Core Plan is nutrition for all families. Don't think of it as a diet. Don't think of it as something that's restrictive, but what's natural and healthy. And really that's what it is. It's more foods by God, more prepared foods, more natural foods from the earth. So if we can get more foods from their source that weren't processed, that aren't designed to sit on a shelf for a year, that you buy at the store regularly, that are full of nutrients and different kind of vitamins and minerals and everything your body needs, you're on your way. So think of health as, our nutrition as feeding my health, right? You don't think of it as pleasure, you don't think of it for stress, you think of it as feeding my health, preventing disease, and something that's sustainable. You want to create a plan for your nutrition that is sustainable over time. Sometimes we're in an acute health situation, or we want to make a lot of changes quickly. That's the advanced plan. This typically is temporary and needs a little bit more guidance. So you're going to read about both of those in here, the core plan and the advanced plan and what goes into that. And we teach a lot of these things in detail at our health workshops in the office. That's why you want to come to those workshops, because they are in depth of all these different essentials and how they apply to different parts of our health. So the next one that we have coming up is going to be in April, which is all about toxins. How do we really dive deep into minimizing toxins, and how does that affect your health in these different areas? Here's some simple things that everyone can start working on right now, is looking at the 3 sources of our food groups: carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So carbohydrates, it's okay to eat carbohydrates. In fact, carbohydrates are very good for us. We just want to make sure we're getting the right type of carbohydrates. Because like a piece of Wonder Bread and vegetables like cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, or something like that is totally different. They're both carbohydrates, but the nutrient density they have for your body, the amount of sugar content, how you break them down is completely different. So we want to avoid like the real high starchy carbohydrates, lots of breads and chips and processed foods. We want to avoid a lot of sugar laden type foods as much as possible. Processed foods are full of these chemicals and oils. Proteins, getting rid of the conventional protein sources with more natural resources means, what would an animal normally do? If you think about a fish, it should be growing up in the ocean, eating ocean food, or in a lake or a river, not growing up in some farm fed artificial food. Cows would normally graze, eating grass in their normal environment. Putting them in a huge factory that now eats genetically modified grains or corn is not as healthy for them. Chickens should free roam, eating what comes to them, not being put in a giant cage and fed processed food. So if you think, what does my food eat and how does it live? If it's in its healthy, natural environment, well, that's likely what's going to happen to you. If your food grew up in a stressed, sick environment, eating processed foods, being injected with chemicals and hormones and given medications, well, you can imagine the amount of toxic stress that goes into you. That's the easiest way to look at proteins. And then fats, fat is not bad for you. It's just bad fats we want to avoid. So most non-fat foods, most what's considered the health foods like corn oil and canola oil is actually the damaged fats that you want to avoid. Healthy fats like avocado oil and coconut oil and nut and seed type oils, those are a lot better for you. Natural healthy fats from animal products can be really good for you. So you want to get a lot of fats in, because that's actually where a lot of your nutrients and energy comes from. So don't be afraid of fat. And then we look at macronutrients. This gets a little detailed as we get in here, but you should have a balance of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. And this may differ for different people depending on your age, your gender, your health goals, your activity level. So if you really want to get a more dialed in nutrition plan, well, that's best to work with somebody who can guide you through that. And these are some of the things that we may look at in your progress reviews. We can do more in-depth nutrition consultation. We actually do nutrition testing for a lot of patients through here. If you want to get exact amounts, that's really the best way to be able to do that. But understanding minimum, we want to get all 3 in there, right? We don't want to do just no carbs, no fat, very low or very high protein. We want to get a balance so that your body gets all the different food groups that it needs. On average, most adults need about 90 grams of protein per day, minimum at least half your body weight in protein ounces per day. Sometimes you need more, sometimes you need a little bit less. Again, it may depend on your personal goals and your current health. We don't want to get too much. When you start getting too much protein in on a regular basis, right, it causes stress to your kidneys. Sometimes it can create toxic stress through what's called glycation, is when protein breaks down into sugars and actually eats away at your joints a little bit. So if you're eating unhealthy proteins or far too much protein, that's when you can start getting damage to other parts of your body. So we don't want to get too much. And if you get too little, obviously you're going to be, deficient in different types of nutrients. So you don't want to get there either. And then fat. Most Americans are deficient in what's called omega-3 fatty acids. This mostly comes from fish. And if you ask most people, well, how many, full fish meals do you eat? What is that? Maybe like 1 day a week, every couple of weeks, maybe not at all. This is the one that we need the most. This is what feeds our brain. This is what reduces inflammation. This is what makes up your cellular membranes that allow nutrients in and toxins out. This is the most important. This is the absolute most important for pregnant moms and kids, because this is when their brain and nervous system tissue is developing. It's important for older adults. A lot of people who have dementia, Alzheimer's, many neurological developmental issues are related to a deficiency of these omega-3 fatty acids. So we want to get them in all the time. Fats on average should be anywhere between 35 and 40% of your daily caloric intake. Again, sometimes more, sometimes less, but we want to get a lot of fat. Fat is good for us. It's healthy. It's full of nutrients. It gives you a lot of energy. When it comes to supplementation, a lot of people ask, do I really need supplements? Now, supplements, there's a lot out there, and they're not very well regulated. So most supplements that people get are not high quality. There's a reason why we sell supplements in the office, is because we know the source. We know that they're good. Everything we have here is what I personally use. I'd recommend to my friends and family. We know the source. We've had it tested. We actually do nutritional testing with patients, and we see that it makes progress with them. So you know you're getting the best when you get it from here. And one of the key foundations that I take every day and I recommend as minimum for patients is a multivitamin. There's a different formula for men and women. We also have a Daily Essentials pack, which has the multivitamin, vitamin D, which is especially important for the times of the year where you don't get a lot of sun, because we need vitamin D for the health of our digestion, for your immune system, for the makeup of many of the chemical hormones, and that's deficient when you're not getting the sun very often. Magnesium, B vitamins, and the omega-3 is all in that Daily Essentials pack. So for about the cost of a cup of coffee at Starbucks each day, you can get all the nutrients your cells in your body needs to function ideally. So a lot of times we'll start patients with that Daily Essentials pack in the first month or so of their care, so they can start getting the nutrients they need as their body's healing. I encourage many people to continue doing that month after month. I do this every month. At bare minimum, do the multivitamin. We have one for kids too. Kids don't always love all the nutritious foods. I know sometimes my kids just want pizza and quesadillas and sandwiches, so I gotta sneak in the nutrients where I can. So we have some that are liquid form, and we also have some chewables for kids too. I grew up with those little Flintstone vitamins. It's not that. It's a healthy version of that. So you get all that you need. And number 2 is the omegas. We already talked about how important that is and how most people are deficient. These ones are so key, getting omegas in. And we have different forms based upon what your needs are going to be. That's why that's also part of that Daily Essentials pack. Like I said, we do have it for kids. We have omega for kids. We have multivitamin for kids. And we have some specific ones through what's called BioRay, which can help with detoxing, supporting immune system, focus, attention, supporting digestion, even supporting sleep. So those are for kids too. So if you want a more natural solution for some of the things going on with kids, make sure you're looking at that BioRay supplement line there that we have in the office. For more of the advanced type care, that's when we do our testing. So we have a complete gut microbiome test, which is the BiomeFX. This is amazing. Anybody who's having consistent digestive issues that they can't just seem to figure out what's going on, I always recommend the BiomeFX. I've done this myself personally. I've walked with numerous patients through this, and it's been life-changing for them. A lot of times they've struggled and tried so many things, different diets, different supplements, different doctors, and not figured it out, and we found the cause through the BiomeFX. We're able to make some lifestyle changes, sometimes nutrient recommendations, get their body back to a healthy state, and it's been so much better. Gut health is key to immune system function. About 70% of your immune system comes from the gut. It's key for health of your brain. It's key for production of hormones, for production of vitamins, how you actually absorb nutrients. That all happens in the gut. So you want to have a healthy gut. And then the Max Metabolics is one of the best overview, just looking at the different systems of your body. Any nutrient deficiencies, toxicity problems, gut issues, problems with stress and hormones. It goes through 7 different key sections of your body, over 120 different biomarkers to find out what's working and what's not. So again, we're getting to the cause versus trying to treat the symptom. A lot of times we're chasing different things around. Metabolics is the way to say this is what's working, this is what's not, and we can actually retest, like getting an x-ray of your whole body, your metabolic system, to know what's wrong, how to address it, and make sure that it's correcting and healing over time. So if you want more information on how these tests work and if you'd be a good fit, just let us know. We'd be happy to go through those. The Max Metabolics test is $650. That covers the test itself. It's something that's done at home. We go through and do a complete review with you. We set up a protocol. That's all covered in that testing fee. The BioMFX is $550. Again, that's a self-test at home. You don't have to go any labs. You don't have to get a doctor prescription. You don't have to get a referral. We'll give you the test here. We'll show you how to use it. Usually we get the results back within a couple of weeks of the time that you sent it in. We'll sit down and go through what your protocol looks like. The next area is oxygen and exercise. This is moving your body. Now, exercise is more than just about how you look and what your fitness level looks like. Every area of your body benefits from movement, from your spine and nervous system, to your joints, to your blood flow, your lymphatic system, your gut health. It all relies on movement. Our bodies are designed to move. We weren't designed to sit somewhere, right? You look at our ancestors, what they do? They moved all the time. They were nomadic. They went from place to place. They had to hunt for their food. Now in our modern society here, most people, they sit. Right? There's been recent studies that show that over 50% of teenagers are not even fit for basic military service now because they're so unfit and so unhealthy. That over 70% of the population is what's called sedentary, which means they don't move at all. Like nothing, zero exercise. Their exercise is walking from the office to the car. That's it. Right? We got to get our bodies moving. It's an essential and it's something you can't get around. So the key, if you don't really exercise, you don't have a fitness plan, is to start small. Right? Get your body moving. Maybe that's going for a walk each day. Maybe that's taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking farther away. Doing these non-exercise activities, or NEAT, is actually one of the best ways to improve your metabolic level. That means get your body moving as often as possible. Getting standing desk instead of a sitting desk, right? Finding ways to move consistently. That's also why we give you home care. We give you home care because it starts moving your spine. That's the area that needs to move the most. And that's what increases the function and health of your brain. It's actually what detoxes your brain. That sends nutrients to your brain. In fact, 90% of the nutrients to your brain comes from movement of the spine. So imagine the stress your brain and nervous system's under if your spine is not moving, which for most people that's sitting. And what are most jobs nowadays? It's sitting. It's sitting at a desk. It's sitting at home. It's sitting in your car, right? Your body needs to move. Getting some workouts in. Maybe some easy push-ups, some chair squats 2 times a week, doing some body weight exercises. Because the more lean muscle mass you have, the better your metabolic system is, which means you're burning fat faster, you have more energy throughout the day, your body's producing healthy feel-good hormones, right? They've actually studied it, that if you just exercise 20 minutes a day, that's better for your mood than any prescription medication you can get out there. In fact, better than top 2 depression medications combined just by exercising more often. It's just a matter of getting out there, getting and doing it. So some easy ones that you can do, that most people can do, is an air squat. So if you just stand and just do 10 air squats, that's an easy thing that you can add into your daily routine. You can do this as you're getting ready in the morning. You can do this throughout your day. Even if you do sit, stand up and do a couple of air squats, get your body moving. That's a really easy one. Also doing lunges, forward lunges, step-ups are really easy. Even just a simple walk is easy. Get yourself moving throughout the day. Typically for exercise, women want to do more lower body type workouts for your metabolism and your energy. Men want to do a little bit more upper body. It is important to incorporate some type of resistance training to keep your skeletal system strong and to push and build some muscle, because that's what actually helps improve things like your growth hormone and the healthy hormones like testosterone that everybody needs, both men and women. The 5th essential is minimizing toxins. So toxins are around us all the time, and some are unavoidable. Some are environmental. Some are passed down from different generations of your parents or other family members. Some you've come in contact with over the course of your life. The key with toxins is we want to minimize them. We can't fully eliminate them. And your body has the ability to actually deal with a certain amount of toxicity. You have the organs already, like your liver and your lymphatic system and your spleen, your kidneys. They're all designed as filtration and to help build your body's resistance against these toxins around us. But it's when your body is so full of toxins that it can no longer have any more and it starts to spill over that the problems come in, right? When that bucket starts overflowing. So our goal is to consistently minimize and empty the bucket, right? Through detoxing and healthy lifestyle factors, and not add so much in so your body can better handle what goes on around you. So a good place to start looking is what's happening at home. What kind of products are you using? Cleaning products, personal care products. Are you using Clorox bleach? Are you using, the stuff you see on commercials or is right there highly promoted at the store. My kind of rule of thumb, if you wouldn't drink it or eat it or pour it directly on your skin, you probably shouldn't be cleaning with it or using it in your daily life, right? Because even if you just get a little bit over time, it's going to cause a problem, right? If you take one ibuprofen, it's not going to kill you, but if you take the whole bottle, you're going to be pretty sick, right? That's the same idea when it comes to toxins. If you spray a little bit of bleach on your counter today, it may not cause that big of effect. You do that every day for the next 10 years, that's going to cause a lot of problems. So use non-toxic cleaning products, and they exist. They're out there, they're easy to find. They have them in every store around us. You can find them, and usually they're about the same cost. Make sure you dust and vacuum often, you use air purifiers, change out your filters in your home consistently, change them out in your car, right? Sometimes you get those and they're like, oh, you haven't changed this in 5 years and it's black, right? You just been bleeding all that stuff in. Open windows as much as possible. Use a water filter too for your drinking water, for your showers, because there's a lot of stuff that's allowed in our water. Chlorine, there's heavy metals in there, lead. They add fluoride into it. So a lot of these toxins are going back into your body. You can filter most of that out. Get good personal care products. Get plants. There's certain plants that actually will cleanse your air inside and make air breathing better for you. So start incorporating these things in your daily life. And these are all things that we're going to talk about in more depth at workshops and events too. Start taking those healthy habits. One of the big reasons why toxins really affects your health, because it affects things like enzymes. It undermines most normal body functions. It tricks certain parts of your body that they mimic other chemicals or hormones that's naturally produced. And so now you can get hormone imbalances, what's called endocrine disruptors. This is a high leading cause of hormonal type of cancers. There's cancers that are affected by toxicity. And really toxicity creates a stress state in your body, which can even lead to subluxation because muscles get tight and tense, systems are overwhelmed, your body's ability to adapt, that really goes down. And that's why we do detoxes. I recommend at minimum doing a detox every 6 months just to cleanse out the things that maybe we can't even control. If you know you've had a lot of toxic exposure issues over time, we do have a 90-day significant true cellular detox, which actually goes in and cleanses the major things that typically don't get cleaned out. Heavy metals, biotoxins, molds, things that have either passed down in generations or that get stuck in your neural tissue or in different body systems. This actually goes and pulls all those out. The 30-day detox system, which we use here in the office also, doesn't only remove toxins, it strengthens your detox pathways. It feeds and nourishes things like your liver, your lymph system, your digestive system through healthy natural products. So by doing a 30-day detox system, not only are you going to be cleansing out some of the toxins that's overloading your body, but you're also strengthening your body for future toxins that you may become exposed to. And there's also things like the Max Cleanse that are a bit of a lighter cleanse as we start going through this. So as we're eliminating as much as possible the environmental stressors, physically, chemically, emotionally, we're supporting that healing through active chiropractic care, home care, healthy nutrition, physical movement, healthy lifestyle habits, minimizing these toxic stresses. And you can see that if we started incorporating these things over time, how beneficial they can be. And that's the idea of lifetime care. You don't just do detox once and never do it again. You don't just eat good for a month or until you lose 10 pounds and then go back to what you were doing. You keep doing it. You don't stop doing chiropractic care when you feel better. You may just decrease how often you're coming in or the amount of work that you do, right? You never stop exercising. You always keep your body moving, even though that may change over the course of your life, depending on your health goals and what you're doing. All these factors are evergreen, which means you always do them. And that's the idea. And that's why no matter how long you've been here, a month or a year or 10 years, we're still checking in on progress reviews. We still encourage patients to come to events and workshops, even if you've been to them before. If you're a lifelong learner and you're constantly investing in your health, you're always going to be better as a result. And that's the goal. How can we be better? Now, if you're sitting here thinking, man, I really wish like my husband heard this, or my friend from work, or my mom, or someone else you've been talking to, and you've been trying to talk to about coming to the office, but they just haven't made it yet, that's why we do our community dinner. All these things that you hear today are not common knowledge. Your doctor's not going to tell you about them most of the time. You're not going to see them on a commercial on TV or during the Super Bowl. It's not going to be on the billboard on the freeway. It's not covered on your insurance plan, right? If you're not taking active things to improve your health or going to a doctor like what we're doing here, you're not getting that message. That's why we do our community dinner. We do this every few months. It's all about inspiring and educating people on living a healthier life naturally. So I encourage you to bring friends, family to this next event. It's actually coming up on the 21st. This says March 14th. That's today. It's going to be next week. The 21st. It's going to be a great dinner at Sierra View Country Club. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be going through not just the principles you learned here tonight, but really inspiring people to take an active role in their health so that they can live a better life for them and their family. So I encourage every single one of you, make it a priority to come and bring a guest with you to that dinner. That's coming up next week, and we'd love to have you. The dinner is at no cost. All we ask is that you bring a guest with you so they can come learn about these certain types of principles here as well. So when you go back to it, our office isn't just here to treat people for pain, right? We have a mission. With Max Living, our goal is to empower everyone to live a healthy life naturally, to change the way you view and manage your health for the rest of your family, so that way we can really lead a health revolution where people are choosing chiropractic and holistic health above sickness and suffering, above medications and surgeries, right? Going the natural, healthy way versus the medical sick care type way. And it just comes down to every single thing you do and making a decision that this is the way I'm going to live my life. I matter, my family matters, I want something better, and that's the Max Living principle. That's what we teach here. That's the 5 essentials. So our greatest hope today is that you take a couple of things and start making healthier choices in your life, but that you build upon this, and this is just one step in the greater direction of your life moving forward for you and your family. So before we go today, if there's anyone in your family that you still want to schedule, this is our Patient Appreciation Week, whether that's a spouse or children or even talking to someone else in your family, we can actually take care of and set that up for you today. If you haven't gotten signed up for the next workshop, the sign-up's going to be right back here at the back desk for whatever our next workshop or dinner or event's going to be. We can even give you a flyer or anything you need for that. And make sure that you yourself are getting to the next event, the next workshop, and that you commit to being consistent with your adjustments, with your home care, and with these 5 essentials consistently over time, because that's how you get the best results, and we love celebrating those wins with you. So thanks for joining us today here at the 5 Essentials class. We look forward to seeing you at the next event. If you have any questions or clarification, anything we talked about today, you can go to that before you go.